but I was like, holy shit! So this is really what's happening here.
Yeah.
And it was pro Gamergate biased.
Yeah.
And I did, read it with the thought in mind that this was pro Gamergate, so it might not be 100% accurate. But it did provide sources, and it did seem to back up most of its arguments pretty well. And
Yeah.
it made me realize that maybe these Gamergaters aren't such bad people. I mean, yes, the Gamergaters that are actually sending death threats to females and
Hmm.
doxing people, yeah, those are bad people.
Right.
But there are also people on the anti-Gamergate side that are doing that same thing.
Yeah.
They're the bad people too.
And just trolls
Um,
on that are on either side that are just trying to stir the pot too. They have people that
yeah,
just go and they'll just send something and go, "Ha, I'm from GamerGate. Screw you. I'll just send a needle to your house or something like that." It's like, or you get like this whole thing that happened recently where there was this girl that went up to this gamer club over in a college and maced the whole group. You
what the
know,
hell?
yeah, I don't know if you heard about that.
I
It
did
was
not hear about that, huh?
yeah, I forgot the name of the college, but it was a club meeting. It was like all the clubs came together. This was only a couple of days ago. I think this supposedly happened, and it was confirmed that this people from the that were there at the event said it happened. And what happened was, it was a guy who was there. He was running the club. It was a gamer club. People, and they had a bunch of people come in, girls, guys, to do tournaments of like Smash Brothers and just just have a college gamer club. And he said this one girl in red dyed hair went up to him, and she had a pen in her hand and a pad on also there too, and said, she said something to the extent of uh,
Are you pro Gamergate?
uh, well
Is that what she said?
no, actually, she said misogyny first.
Oh.
She said yeah.
Oh.
She said something to the extent of, so do you think gaming is misogynistic? And then she did
This
say
reminds
particularly
me, like, all the
GamerGate.
mean girls I went to school with.
Yeah. And then the guy who was running it, who was pro GamerGate, says, no, actually I support GamerGate, and I support integrity in game journalism. And he pretty much, I think she stomped off or something like that, and he went to go eat lunch, and he was back like an hour later, and he comes back and he sees it was utter chaos that happened. There was everyone was one guy ran up to him and said, listen, someone came by and maced it's pepper spray, not pepper sprayed people nearby, and one of the girls that was there had an asthma attack and was sent to the hospital. And apparently the witnesses said that it was a girl in red dyed hair that went by and got it into the ventilation system, and
Jeez.
got the people maced. So, but you know what? To not sound like the way anti-gamer gators like to get, the action of one person does not mean it's the action of every individual.
Absolutely right.
So, but at the same time, it's just it's sad that it's gotten to that point with this thing, and it's I was very at first I was neutral because I was being an anime site runner and an anime store runner too, and I was at times on my blog I would promote Kotaku because at least older Kotaku was a very good site for anime news and video game news, and it felt like a sister site to mine.
Yeah, I used to love Kotaku.
And then so I didn't, and also I'm a game developer too, so I didn't want to really come in and be like going one end or the other, but especially after what happened with the social justice warriors to me with the whole Chick-fil-A thing and everything, and then I looked into all of it and I saw the quote unquote developers that were being promoted and stuff with Patreon and stuff. I'm like, oh my god, what is going on? Because it's these people that are being promoted by the game journalists. You could tell because a lot of the journalists, and I know this just from what I've done with the journalism with blogging and everything. I even went to Business Week at one point with, and this is, it was somewhat my blog, but it was more of the fact that I was ranting on Business Week's website, and they're like, "Oh, you rant pretty good, and come have dinner with all of us over here, and we'll mention your website and everything." I'm like, okay, had dinner at the CEO's office over there at Business Week, and it was like, okay, pretty cool. But it was, and then it got bought out by Bloomberg, and whatever they were going to plan with us later never happened. But
That sucks.
yeah, they were going to plan us to go. It was going to be a recurring thing where they talk to the fans and stuff of the site of businessweek.com and move forward. But I did kind of see what goes on in journalism a bit, and it's, a lot of them they're not savvy in what they're into. They're they're standing on soapboxes and a lot of times just trying to get clicks, and they're not really into what they don't know the depths of the expertise, particularly when it comes to game design. And when you're seeing people like Zoe Quinn or Brianna Wu or some others that are being promoted, especially Zoe Quinn, I don't want to get to the point of saying, Depression Quest was a terrible game or whatever. It's good to make different games. I'm all for that.
Absolutely.
I'm all for making different games, and that's what Depression Quest was. That's fine, but we've seen games like that since the days of Newgrounds in 2001 and so forth with Flash. Fine, but
if you want a better example, one that doesn't come off as one that might not come off as misogynistic to anyone listening, what was that? Gone Home was another game that got overwhelmingly positive reviews, but then people played it and they were like, "This isn't that great of a game."
Yeah, it was definitely a lot of buttering up, and sure enough, as we saw, a lot of the people were friends with the other person. Heck, there was the girl who just before GamerGate really started to pick up. Actually, this is I think also in late 2013. There was that Polygon review of Dragon's Crown. That terrible one where this girl reviewed it and was basically like, I hate seeing the girls with the boobs on there and everything. That was the basis of why she lowered it to like a 6 out of 10 or something.
Yeah, she actually admitted, I think it was in the last paragraph of the review, she said, I'm docking this game 2 or 3 points because of this girl has big boobs and I don't like the way this game represents the female body. It's a great game, but right. I don't like this, so it loses a few points there. That's what I can't stand, is when game reviewers do shit like that, because that is not fair to the general public, who, I'd say the vast majority of the general public doesn't mind that kind of stuff. It might push a few buttons here and there, but it's not gonna cause an uproar.
Right.
It'll cause a loud minority to have an uproar, but that's about it. But it's also not fair to the game developers, because these people, Vanillaware works very hard on their games, and I'm sure plenty of other game developers do, and a lot of them get bonuses depending on review scores. So how do you think these game developers felt when their Metacritic score was lowered by this 6 or 6.5, whatever Polygon gave it? It probably affected their pay.
And it had no merit to the actual gameplay. And actually, me and Danielle, in kind of a protest to it, and I think we might get back to that, we were doing a Let's Play of Dragon's Crown. And you played, Danielle, right? You played as a sorcerer. And, and you loved it, right? Yeah. And you didn't care about the... Oh, well, you speak. I don't want to... I'll let you say that.
I don't know why girls don't believe this or know this, but there are girls, real-life girls, that are born... that grow up and they have big boobs. Some girls have bigger boobs. It happens. Yeah. I'm part, not to to show off, but I'm part of that group too. And I got made fun of. I got teased for that. Like, I had guys go up to me like, "Are those real?" And people think you're a slut because having big boobs suddenly makes you like a slut, and that's bad. Yeah. And that that makes other girls feel bad about themselves if a character gets a bad review because of her body type. What does that say about girls that just have big boobs?
Right.
That makes them feel bad about themselves.
It's funny, and we're the misogynistic ones.
Yeah,
okay.
What the heck? I hate that. I'm sorry.
There was a study. I'll link it to it if you're curious about reading about it. But I remember reading about a study that showed that the people who complain about sexism in video games are more likely to be sexist themselves.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that sounds legit. Actually, I can believe that.
Absolutely, and and here's the kicker with this whole thing. That girl who did that review of Dragon's Crown was
She's slut? Is she an A-cup?
I don't know. She shares your name, Danielle.
Everyone shares my name.
Yeah, that's true. Everyone from the 80s was named Danielle, apparently.
Well, I was born in the late 80s. So.
Late 80s, yeah. So
I'm more of the 90s.
But she was the same girl who reviewed Going Home. That was the same person who was friends with the developer behind Going Home. Which, again, I don't mind the games being diverse and being written in different languages, and even written in stuff that's not even considered a programming language, like Twine was, the one that the markup thing that Zoe Quinn wrote Depression Quest in, which I noticed Total Biscuit has been showing that he can write in too because it's so easy to do.
Yeah.
It's not. But the problem with that, and this is coming from me as a programmer's point of view, I started programming in 2002, 2001. I lucked out in high school. I had this really cool teacher who was a girl teacher, a female, who taught us C and C++ in our junior and senior year.
Wow, that's awesome.
And it was like, this is great. And actually, a lot of the people I was in class with were fellow anime fans and stuff. And we also, even at one point towards the end of the year, were playing DDR in the computer class towards the summertime.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a really cool class. But I learned a lot. And actually, that was her class, her web design class, was the class where I built Chuck's Anime Shrine from, where the very site I'm doing this podcast from came from.
That's awesome.
And it was. She taught C and C++, and that's what got me into doing programming. Up until that point, I wanted to be, I think, a weatherman or something for my career, but I went into computer science thereafter. But what the goal was to make video games. But back in 2003, when I was in Suffolk Community College over here, though I was a good student and everything, I was the vice president of the computer science club and everything. The professors would look at me kind of weird when I said I wanted to do it for video game development. It was like, why they're looking at me like, why do you want to do that? What's wrong with you? I'm like, because I want to make video games. I want to design but back then they were getting on a very Java high. Java was brand new. Object oriented
Java.
Yeah, object oriented design was the new thing, which is fine. Object oriented design is still there.
Yeah.
Actually, now it's now changed over. There's a new paradigm happening with Swift and Scala and stuff called functional programming, which is basically, I guess, for any of you programmers out there who know this, or anyone wanted to get into programming, it's I don't know how much you know about this either, John, but it's pretty much turning functions into variables themselves and then running kind of sorts and everything of those functions. It's kind of like it's pretty much, in short, doing a lot of code in one line. So it's making the language act even like a higher level language like Ruby and stuff like that, where you just do one line and it does a bunch of stuff, but instead it's still a lower level language. Ruby
that sounds really cool. What's a good language?
I would definitely get into Swift. I'm a big proponent for that. I know I've been like that lately. I wrote Peaky Pop, the game I did in Swift.
Swift is something I can program on a PC?
Actually, no, that's Apple.
It's Apple, okay. Any non-Apple proprietary?
Yeah, that one's Apple proprietary. Scala might be one you can look into, which I think is an add-on to Java, or I didn't look too much into it, but Scala's been getting very much into, from what I hear, they're the ones who started doing this, functional programming, as it's called, which is kind of, like I said, it's a new paradigm. It's still very much object-oriented design, MVC kind of thing going on. Mm-hmm. That's very much the core still. But even so, Java just had an update as well that I looked up called Streams, which I think Java 8 Streams, and that does a lot of the stuff that Swift does now too. With that's functional programming, where you can do a sort and very very basic generics that do a lot of stuff just from a few lines of code, but yet it's still readable and it's still lower level code. The reason why I sometimes bash JavaScript and Ruby a little bit, because they're so higher up in when you get to higher level code, it's great for portability, but if you're making video games, you kind of want to have stuff that can run as efficient as you can to the GPU and CPU.
Yeah.
Because you want
definitely.
60 frames a second. You don't want the, as they say, cinematic 30 frames a second thing. Like, who's saying that? I don't know. You've heard of that thing too with gaming, right? With the cinematic thing. I think Ubisoft was saying, or some developers at Ubisoft were saying, oh no, it wasn't developers. Developers wouldn't say that. It was marketing people. They said, 30 frames per second is okay. It's cinematic. 60 frames per second doesn't have to happen. It's like,
no,
that's a
no.
big tenet to game design, and that's I feel that's, I know I'm going off on a tangent here with game programming, but I like, but it's, kind of going back to with the programming in college, they looked at me like I had 5 heads, and sure enough, all the jobs that they taught us to do went all to India, and now I mean, if you look at I mean, I see commercials for Full Sail and everything say, be a game developer. Learn to not only play the game, but make the games and everything.
I see them all the time.
It's like, I mean, I'm happy that that's the case now, but at the same time, it gets a little pandering. It's like, it's like, and then it gets worse when you see the GamerGate, the anti-GamerGaters, the social justice warriors who will promote these non-programmers who are very content and very, they're very gloating about knowing 9 languages, or it's like, come on, you can't talk about it. There's people who made Roller Coaster Tycoon was done in assembly.
Wow.
Yeah, Roller Coaster Tycoon was done in assembly. I wouldn't recommend that for anyone.
No,
but that's about as a lower level code as you can get.
Yeah, it's like one step above coding in binary.
Absolutely, yeah. It's the next step up where you're writing to registers and everything, which I did in college, which was pretty fun. But a for loop, for example, in code, a simple for loop that's maybe 3 lines is like 15 lines, 20 lines in assembly. You're moving things back and forth through registers and everything and stuff, and it was neat to learn it, but it depends on the chip you're running for. It depends on all these other things too. So it's a little, but it's cool. But I'm not saying everyone should go, all right, you need to know machine language and then work your way up. Only real programmers know lower level language. But at the same time, I feel that people should not be promoting these non-languages as game development. To me, that's not. You want to know game development? No C and C++. That's how you develop on a Game Boy. That's how you develop on Game Boy Advance. I printed out years ago. Nintendo, I think, had available, or someone did for Nintendo had a code in for Game Boy Advance, and it was all C and C++, and it was before any kind of frameworks or anything. You kind of had to make it all from scratch. It was a little rough.
Yeah.
But yeah, so sorry to go off on a programming tangent with GamerGate, but actually,
so I'm just sitting here going, yeah.
Well, you know what, Danielle, we haven't let you talk too much, but in terms of GamerGate, what's your opinion on that as a girl? Do you feel that us gamers are misogynists and we're harassers to girls and all this?
Well, I'm a gamer too, so. Am I that? That's the question.
Am
I like that?
Well, you would be called to the anti-GamerGaters, social justice warriors, as a sock puppet, you have internal misogyny.
That's so gross.
You have,
See, that bugs me even more. So, like when the whole "Not Your Shield" thing started,
yes.
And for those who don't know, "Not Your Shield" was another hashtag in response to all these quote unquote journalists. Who were saying that, everyone in GamerGate is just 30-year-old men living in their mom's basements, wearing fedoras and sipping on Mountain Dew and eating Doritos. And
milady.
Then once they started to say that, the Not Your Shield movement started, which is when all these people of color, other minorities, and women would come forward and say, hey, look, I support GamerGate, so shut up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Basically. And then, you know what happened then? The game journalists went ahead and said, these are all they're really men who are just claiming to be women.
Yeah.
And, really?
Even recently.
That is really disrespectful. If you're going to claim to be pro-equality and against harassment, and then you're going to turn around and say that people who are claiming to be women are just sock puppets, no, you can fuck off. That is disrespectful and rude, and you're a piece of scum.
Yeah, and they're the ones calling us misogynists and racists and everything like that. And it's like, wow. I was like, how bad can you guys get? How You're the ones who are offensive. How can you say that these people are not who they are? They don't like
characters with big boobs. So
yeah, that's true.
Say about you.
Well, and their general attitude about everything is, it's okay when we do it.
Yeah.
That harassment of GamerGaters, it's okay when we do it.
Yeah,
because the GamerGate's the bad guys, so they deserve to be harassed. That's like, you know what? The victim blaming? No, fuck off.
Yeah. Yeah. What were you going to say, Danielle?
They sound like spoiled brats.
Well, they are. A lot of them, yeah.
They really do. They remind me of, the girls I went to school with, and I got shitted on for liking Sailor Moon, and I was open about it because I didn't care, so I showed off all my nerdy stuff, and like, I love Sailor Moon, I want to be an animator, like, Sailor Moon is like my favorite thing, and I got shitted on that, like, this girl's skirts are too short, and all that kind of like crap, and I'm like, I don't care about that, I just like the show, I like the characters, I never really noticed how short their skirts were, I didn't think it was a big deal.
It didn't matter. Yeah, and
it's like, come on, just enjoy the show.
And Wonder Woman is pretty much wearing a Bane suit all day. So what? They're like, but she's 14. I'm like, well, Snow White was 12. Get over it.
Right. I can't stand it so much, and what stinks about it too is my coming out saying that I'm pro GamerGate. I've had one guy who was a regular customer of mine come out and say he hates me.
Yeah, I saw that. That pissed me off. I was ready to I'm like, can I message him and tell him to?
And this is a guy who constantly posts about K-pop artists and stuff.
Oh, I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah,
he knows who you're talking about.
He knows. We're in the same circle, and
I was so mad.
he posts all about K-pop girls dancing around and stuff. I'm like, dude, what the hell? I'm like, and it was when it was early on, and he hated me when I first talked about, because when I first jumped into it, I really didn't know too much about it, but I saw a post, granted it was from 4chan early on before 4chan left towards 8chan, where people said that Zoe Quinn was gonna punch herself in the face and make it look like she got beaten up and talk in front of people and stuff. And I said that this might happen. And then he was like, he went on a rant, hating, like yelling at me and everything. He's like, I wish I was never a customer with your site and everything. I'm like, whoa, holy crap, where's this coming from?
That's really harsh. That's really harsh.
Dude.
I mean, you've been really good to him. You've been good to me. I've been a customer of yours for years. I'm sure you treat all your customers the same way, and just because you have differing opinions on something over a movement as nebulous as GamerGate, you're gonna stop being a customer now and you completely tell the guy off. Like, come on.
Yeah, and people who I follow that I see might be anti-GamerGate, I don't go and block them or anything. I because in the end, it's really just. It's probably just an honest disagreement, or people just not knowing what the other one is, and and that's fine. And I'm not gonna, I'm being the bigger person by not going and blocking and unfollowing these people and stuff. And I remember I had the conversation with him, and then we eventually agreed to, he unfollowed me, he was yelling at me and everything. I go, dude, what the hell? And then he followed back, and then I saw recently he unfollowed me, and he wasn't blocking me, but it was just like, I'm like, come on.
He almost unfollowed me too because of some stuff I was saying to him, because I challenged his opinion on something. But this actually reminds me of a tweet that Brental Floss. He tweeted just yesterday. There was a hashtag trending on Twitter: "Ruin a friendship in 5 words," and his post was, "So we disagree about GamerGate." Hashtag ruin a friendship in 5 words. And I was like, that's so true.
It is.
It is. I've lost a few friends on Facebook. I've lost a few followers on Twitter because of the things I've said about GamerGate. And it's just like, come on. At the end of the day, we're all gamers. I just want to sit back and play my games without being called a misogynist.
Exactly.
Is that really too much to be asking for?
And as a
apparently it is.
Yeah.
And as a game developer, I don't want to see things happening, which I'm seeing right now with IDGC, whatever. These organizations that are meant to help indie developers enter the field become gatekeepers and only bring in the people that are these social justice warriors and are trying to push this agenda. It should be every game developer with every idea that comes to mind. Sure, let Depression Quest, let Going Home get through just fine. Let them get their honest reviews and let it go through just fine. And if they're popular, great. If they're not, whatever, that's fine. But they got to get the choice. There's probably some indie developers now that, unless they make the next big game like Flappy Bird or something,
Minecraft,
they're not going to be noticed. They're not going to get that extra boost that they can get from some of these organizations that are now blocking GamerGaters through that block list and stuff like that. And
That's the most ridiculous thing, that block list, which is actually a blacklist now
Yep.
because it's gone to the point where people are actually sending it to the employers of people on that list trying to get them fired.
That's
If that's not harassment, then I don't know what is.
that's why I sometimes lately I've been treading. I will get on the GamerGate thing. I'll start posting things too on Twitter and whatnot because I support the movement for what it's there for, and I want to support it as someone who runs an anime site, an anime store, and who's a game developer too, and a longtime gamer. But recently, I've been doing I did another programming test recently for a gaming company because my current job, let's put it this way, sucks. I'm underpaid. I'm paid half of what I'm supposed to do web development, and only recently, after doing some, because it just became the case of, hey, they need a new website. Oh, by the way, your web developer who was just a computer guy all these years is now. Now he can be the web developer, whatever. But I'm paid half of what a web developer's made. Makes. So
I'm all too familiar with that situation.
Yeah, it's a little ridiculous, and I keep seeing these job offers for the city for iOS developer for $50 an hour and everything, and I'm like, all right, yeah, I'm really being underpaid here. So, but I of course want to have my store and everything. I'd rather have it be my own stuff, but let's face it, you still have to work first to go there, and I'd rather be in a position where I'm working a better job that's helping me out, so that way I can make my stuff better, where I'm not struggling trying to make, ends meet while at the same time juggling so many things. I'd rather have something nice and steady and solid in something I like and move forward. And so I recently did do a code test for for a company that's the company themselves is not popular. It's their app that they've made. I don't want to say it over the podcast, but let's just say it's a game that's been out for a while. So they told me to do a test in OpenGL, which before that was only slightly getting into, which is one of the hardest. It's supposedly some of the hardest stuff to do in game design. It's actually designing the shaders and talking to the GPU directly. It's rough. I've learned a lot more from it, and ironically, it was to make a snowfall effect, considering what's been happening this past week here on Long Island.
Yeah. God,
but
enough snow already.
Oh god. Yeah, and so I've been quiet on the Twitter end for that fear, and I shouldn't have to fear that. Where I can't, if I start saying stuff, I'm worried that this company will then see like, oh, he's a GamerGater. Oh, we shouldn't, maybe we shouldn't take him in. And it's like, this job, if I get it, it's going to be really good because I can also work from home. And so no more commuting 40 minutes each day to Amityville. Yay. Oh, God, which is stupid because the job I do right now, I can do 100% from home. And I have when it's convenient for the boss, of course. So it's, but it stinks that that's a problem. You're getting some of these people that are going and attacking people's employment and saying, look what this person said on Twitter. Look what this person said on Facebook. As an employer, I'd be like, a good employer should be like, so what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why would an employer care about what you do in your personal life? I mean, as long as you're not doing it at work.
Right. It shouldn't matter. It absolutely shouldn't matter. But that's some of the tactics I've seen from people who hate GamerGate hate us GamerGaters. It's like it's bad. And I'm seeing that on the developer side of things too, where you get organizations that using that blacklist and stuff, and you don't want to see that. And then you're getting people who I used to respect in the industry talk bad about us, like Adam Sessler, for example. He's blocking me. You might have saw when I flipped out like that on Twitter and stuff. I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, come on. I've been following this guy before he was, I think before he was even on G4 and everything and stuff. I think he was on G4. Whatever. Before he became popular. And because he's an older guy who's a gamer, and it was like, he had some good talks then, but now he's part of the whole, I don't know, the pod people that have been taken over here with some of them. You got like Joss Whedon and who else? There was another famous person who's also the creator of IT Crowd.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Blinner is his name on Twitter or whatever, but he he's blocking me. I never even followed the guy or even talked to him at all. I'm because of that block list. I'm being blocked by him,
Amazing.
and he's doing that whole thing of saying that all gamer. And this is just the past few days ago. He was saying that all GamerGaters are just white people with living in their basement too, and
he also compared it to the KKK.
Yes, I saw that too.
And that's another thing I'm seeing is these disgusting comparisons, comparing Gamergate to the KKK or ISIS, and like, what?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's
Wow.
That's like that.
Gamergate isn't killing anyone.
No.
A few, and I mean a few, of them are sending death threats to people, and that's despicable.
It's wrong.
But but really, you're going to compare those few, or the whole group rather, to a terrorist organization?
Yeah. God, even Will Wheaton is like that too. He's saying the same thing.
Yeah,
it's
he's doing that too. I never liked Will Wheaton to begin with, so whatever.
I saw him. He was in that video game movie just recently. I saw on Netflix. I'm like, you're just pandering, you bastard.
Yeah.
So let's get Patrick Stewart to come over and kick his ass or something, you know? Yeah, it's just, I don't know. Yeah, I know, but it's the kind of thing, and it's still going on. And I know a lot of people today have been talking about Monty and really not going too much. Actually, I did see someone post the hashtag of Gamergate with, respecting Monty which I don't think that really is part, I don't think that really is part of the same thing. I think people should just try to.
Yeah, I wish you would keep other issues out of Gamergate. Like, there was another, apparently, someone tried to use Martin Luther King Day as, like, to help leverage Gamergate with the whole free speech issue. Yeah. And, don't do that. That's not cool.
It's, so, there's some things that people do that it's like, come on, don't do that. It's not part of it. Don't mix things that are there, because it seems like you're trying to put in your own pedestal. It's like... they're trying to push their own point and use the movement or whatever to promote them, which we see that a lot on the other side too. But the game journalists, that's what they do. They're seeing that this is the thing to talk about, so they'll push buttons, and now it gets them tons of views, tons of clicks, and hey, tons of ad money. We got all that going on. So I don't know. Well, Gawker was always on Reddit, was on Reddit's shit list for a while, and they hated Redditors. This was before Gamergate. They were spamming the system there, and they got called out on it over there. I remember, and then they started making smear articles against Reddit for a while, and now that social justice warriors are apparently part of Reddit too, part of their admins.
Small part of Reddit.
Yeah, well, Reddit not too long ago they decided to say, they told all the people who work for them that because they had people who telecommuted. They said, if you can't work here in our San Francisco office, you're fired, basically, if you can't move over here. And it's like, wow, okay, guys. And I've been a member of that site for 7 years. I was one of the people who left Dig when Dig fell apart to go to Reddit. And when they've had like the admins talk about stuff, the new things as go, I pointed that out to them, and of course, no one really. Some people paid attention who upvoted me and stuff, but I think it went to deaf ears. And I always check to see if I was shadow banned for mentioning such a thing, because unfortunately that's a thing too. If you mention anything like that on the site, you get shadow banned, and only admins can do that on the site.
Yeah, and that's another despicable thing.
That's so the discussion is being silenced, and that's a problem. Whether or not people are even being offensive, that's what the voting system's there for. That's what the comment voting system is there. Let the upvotes and downvotes do their work. And that's a whole other topic, I think, with Reddit too, is that they've had what likes to be called subreddit degeneration, where you can't post anything, and then even when you post something, it's banned anyways, no matter, because someone thought it was whatever, some rule that didn't even exist.
That's why I don't really use Reddit.
And it's like
too many rules.
I've even said it a couple times too. I said there's these little arrows here on the left called the upvote and downvote buttons. I thought those were a thing. But anyways, don't mean to rant on about Reddit. But so I don't know. It's I guess maybe we can on that, I know it's a bit of a negative note, but whatever. I don't know. What do you want to say, Danielle? I feel like we've been have we been
pushed me away?
Yeah, sorry. No, I kind of interrupted you earlier. I should have let you finish.
It's okay.
Go ahead and continue what you were saying about your whole opinion of Gamergate.
Yeah, because you before I don't mean to cut you off here, Danielle. I'm a misogynist.
And that's called mansplaining.
I was about to say that too.
Interrupting, I believe that they call it.
I'm mansplaining. I'm mansplaining the fact that you were in art
boobs,
school,
isn't it?
you were in art school before this, so you and yeah, like you said, you were being downplayed for being an animator in the art school But anyways, go ahead.
Anyway,
Sorry.
Wait. So what should I talk about? The art school, or should I?
Gamergate. What your opinions about it as a girl, as a gamer?
I don't know too much details about it. I haven't really looked into it, but from what you told me and from what I heard, they just sound so childish, and it pisses me off because I'm done with the drama of high school and kids and acting like children and not being adults about things and letting people have free speech, and that really bothers me. And saying that, making you guys look bad, trying to make you guys look bad, pisses me off. I'm like, because I met a lot of guy gamers. Not all of them are gonna be nice, but a lot of them, they were always nice to me.
Yeah.
You're always gonna meet douchebag people.
And everything.
Yeah, no matter what you do. But saying that a whole group of people are assholes is terrible.
Yeah.
I think that's terrible, and it's just a hobby. At the end of the day, gaming is just a fun hobby to do.
Yeah. And we've had enough people trying to bash gaming. How many decades?
It's been going on since gaming started. The media's been trying to bash gaming and vilify them as bad guys. I mean, I think it really took off with Columbine when they discovered that the people who did Columbine played Doom. And therefore, video games are evil now. Actually, it happened even before that when D&D started becoming popular. It caused Satanism, apparently.
The religious fundamentalists, the very strict conservatives, they were very against gaming, and it, like you said, like D&D before
they're against
video
people
games
having fun. I think that's what it is. They're against Harry Potter.
Yeah,
they're against everything.
I mean, we know somebody who doesn't let their kids watch SpongeBob, for goodness sakes. It's like, are you kidding me?
Yeah,
I mean,
I was shocked about that.
I was like, wow, come on. Hell,
that makes me mad because I'm an animator. I'm like, you kidding me? You know how much work that goes in that? You let your kids watch that.
I used to watch Ren and Stimpy, and I loved it.
I loved it too.
I was in the Ren and Stimpy, and now looking back, I'm like, wow, that was some pretty fucked up shit in there.
Ren and Stimpy. Rocko's Modern Life is even worse. I rewatched some of that because it was on Netflix for a little while, and I was like, wow.
Yeah,
I'm getting these jokes now that I'm older, and they just went over my head when I was younger.
Yeah, a lot of parents don't understand that.
It's over our head.
Most kids don't know what they are, and if they do, I think you screwed up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
And so us gamers we've dealt with this for decades, and it
I
also
dealt with this for decades.
I remember hell, back in the 90s with when ESRB was set up. I knew exactly when that happened. That was when it was two games that caused that to happen. It was Mortal Kombat and it was Night Trap. Night Trap and Mortal Kombat started the ESRB. And me and my friend growing up, we actually he had a Sega CD and 32X, and we played that. We played Night Trap on there. As campy and silly of a game as it was, we actually spent the whole day writing up when all the traps were going to happen. And we wrote it up on, I think, a piece of cardboard. And we came up with it, and we were able to get a perfect score on the game. We were able to make fun of that game. But that game, and even if you look back at it, it's like that game caused people to flip their shit. I mean...
Yeah, games now.
I mean, come on. You've seen Night Trap before? Or?
Yeah, I've seen gameplay of it.
Yeah.
It's tame by today's standards.
Oh, by far. I mean, my goodness, it was like a campy late 80s, early 90s sitcom thing going on. It was.
I thought it was really cute.
You thought it was cute?
I thought it was really cute.
Because Game Grumps did a thing about that.
I watched Game Grumps play it. Yeah,
that's I didn't know about that game.
Oh, you did? Yeah, that's right.
No.
I was like, oh, I know what's gonna happen.
I didn't have many games when I was growing up.
Oh, that stinks.
Well, my mom was very against games because she thought it was like a boy toy, and she didn't like me playing with boy toys. I guess she feared I was going to turn gay. But whatever.
Yeah.
But like she was also against like anything violent. So even like cartoons and stuff, I had to like kind of like sugarcoat it, going like, they're just fighting evil, Mom.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah, it's so we've dealt with this for a while. People just telling us not to don't play games, they're evil. It's like
they make you violent.
They make you violent. You're evil for doing that. It's like,
I'm the most unviolent person.
But you know, that's actually, well, speaking of Game Grumps, real quick too, they were at Magfest, which they've been for the past couple of years now, and
yes, they were.
Did you see them?
Did you see them when you were?
I saw. Well, Aaron couldn't make it because he got sick.
Oh yeah.
Aaron Eagle Raptor. But Danny was there. He was there with Ninja Sex Party. Who else was there? Speaking of Game Grumps, JonTron, former Game Grump, he was there. Peanut Butter Gamer was. I think she.
Yeah,
I can't remember. Peanut Butter Gamer was there. I know Pro Jared was there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was really good seeing them all. I mean, their panels were just Q&As, so I didn't really stick around too much. Plus, the room had such terrible acoustics, I couldn't really hear what they were saying.
Oh, yeah.
It was one of those humongous rooms, and they just had, just all the panelists lined up, and there was a mic in front of each one of them. But the sound just traveled nowhere.
Oh gosh.
So the room could have been better organized, but that's probably not Magfest's fault. Who else did I see? I think that was about it, actually.
Yeah.
I saw some of the concerts, actually. Some of the concerts were really great. I saw Bit Brigade, which was really cool. What they did was, and I guess this is kind of their thing, they had a guy on stage play speed run through Metroid while the band played the music to the game.
Oh my gosh.
That was amazing. The guy sped run through it. He messed up a few times, but I give him credit because I certainly couldn't do it.
No.
And this was original NES Metroid, which is hard as balls.
Yes. I was about to say, I was like, if it's the original one, forget about it. Even Super Metroid, I would be having trouble trying to speed run that.
Yeah, but this guy did the game in like a half hour, so that was really cool. I also saw Power Glove, which was they do death metal covers of video game music. They opened with Final Fantasy IV, and I immediately fell in love with that.
Nice.
Who else did I see? I saw Lonely Rolling Stars. Yes, they are named after the song from Katamari Damacy.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
And
cool.
I think that was about it. I also saw the Megas, too. They were awesome. They do a lot of Mega Man music, as you can tell.
I'm so jealous.
we got to go to it's in Maryland, right?
The
convention.
Yeah, it's in Maryland National Harbor. It's at the Gaylord Convention Center, which is the same place where Katsucon is.
Mm-hmm.
It's about 30 minutes away from Baltimore.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, I've been with Danielle's family. We've been down to that area when we passed by that when we heading to Florida, but that's pretty much near. It's right near I-95, pretty much, right? Right, not too far away from I-95, I guess. Or, yeah, maybe
I don't remember. I was just following my GPS, so I don't remember the street names.
No problem. Yeah, cool. Yeah, it's and I speaking of back to Magfest too with Game Grumps, you know, the age-old thing of is Aaron and John still friends thing that got squashed finally.
So are they still friends?
Yes.
They are, okay.
Yeah, well,
because I always wondered why John left Game Grumps. Did he ever give a statement about that?
He said there was something about it, a little bit, maybe some sort of disagreement at first, that he was like kind of like, you know, I think also too, he for a while wanted to come out here to New York, which is kind of weird for anyone especially in entertainment that's in California. They're like coming out to New York. It's usually the other way around.
Well, the food here is cheaper.
That's what he said. Yeah, the food's cheaper.
And he doesn't need a car too. He lives in New York City.
He lives in the city, so
he doesn't need a car.
Yeah.
So probably.
So they are still friends. That's good to know. Because I always wondered, like, was there some drama between them? What happened?
Well, Ross is now like up in the game. He kissed him, and I'm like,
yeah.
Aaron waited too long.
Ross from Steam Train.
Yeah, there's a picture of him kissing him.
Yeah,
and that was.
and Aaron commenting him on Reddit. They were both talking on Reddit, going, he goes, Ross, he's mine, you fucking asshole. And there was also a picture of Aaron with John. Apparently Aaron he was there at Magfest, but he was, like you said, he was sick. But him and John were talking, and they said they're really close friends now. More so they kind of patched up things that were maybe there. They had a disagreement, or just the fact that because of his move, they couldn't really be friends as close. He said that they're now more in touch than before. So, and actually they're gonna. I heard too that John and a couple others are gonna be on SleepyCast as well, too.
Yeah,
I don't know if you watched. Have you seen SleepyCast or listen to SleepyCast? Right? Have you heard about that?
No, actually. What is that?
SleepyCast is now done. It's done by a lot of the guys who's friends with Aaron and all of them. A lot of the old Newgrounds guys. You're gonna have Oni and Aaron and Spaz Kid's on there. Oni, Stamper. Stamper TV, who's there, who had a very funny tweet recently. GamerGate. He goes, "I'm sorry, I was born as a white male. Help me find some sort of retribution for this, people. Please help me." Or something like that.
That's great.
It was so Stamper was on there. Stamper, when I was on Newgrounds, when I was posting that thing from 2003. Stamper was the one manning the portal at the time. There at Newgrounds, and also apparently Tom Fulp, the creator of Newgrounds, is going to be on there. But JonTron will be on there, and I'm pretty sure Aaron will be on there soon. And so they're pretty much patching things up in terms of whether or not they had any kind of disagreement. They're in general just getting back together to maybe start doing some stuff, at least collaboration, where they're not.
Well, friendship is more important.
Yes, John and Aaron realize that friendship is more.
I learned that from My Little Pony. Friendship is magic.
Oh gosh, yeah. So it's apparently, and from this Magfest, that whole thing got squashed entirely. Finally.
Good.
So it's they're friends, and it was funny. Ross was teasing them, and Aaron was like, "Oh, what are you doing? You're stealing my man," and just doing that whole little joke thing.
Yeah, that was beautiful. That made my fangirl so happy. I'm gonna write fanflicks now.
So
it's gonna be great.
So we definitely have to go to Magfest.
Yeah.
Next year.
I think
that's happening.
We should all go together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that we should go and
I'll
just go to
like,
cons
I'm gonna
in
hang
general.
out with the white guys.
us misogynist gamer
And I
gators.
take a picture of it and put it around. Like, look at all these white guys.
We'll tip Ephedora to you.
Yeah.
Did you hear that there was a Vivian James cosplayer at GamerGate that got a lot of harassment?
Really?
At Magfest, that got a lot of harassment.
Oh no, I did not hear about that.
Yeah, if it's somewhere on our Kotaku in Action, you can read the account of this person who cosplayed as Vivian James, GamerGate's mascot, and got a ton of harassment, and there was a few tweets attacking her. So it was really quite despicable.
That's messed up.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's messed up.
I like that mascot, and it was and I remember when
She's cute. I really
Yeah,
like
she's a
her.
great mascot.
She's really cute.
She
When
was
you show me it, I'm like, she's so adorable.
I saw the original post that was done on 4chan that they created her. They purposely said they don't want her to be sexualized. They didn't they wanted her to be tame. They wanted her to be someone that can represent everyone. They wanted to basically put the foot in the mouths of those who are saying that the gamers are misogynistic and say, hey, listen, we're supporting girl gamers. There's girl gamers amongst us. Here's a good representation, and of course the that organization that 4chan before everyone moved over to 8chan did now I forgot the name of the group that they donated to is now
Fine Young Capitalists?
Yes, Fine Young Capitalists. They have Vivian as their mascot too on there, and that's what they've been running with. But that was I saw that, and it was the purpose was to say, hey, listen, they're not the stereotypical 4chaners who are going out there and trolling people and sending dick pics and all this stuff. Or whatever. There are people here that are just fans of gaming and anime that are like everyone else.
Yeah, and just further proving that social justice warriors will look for anything in anything. Will look for rape references in anything.
Right.
There were people. Someone was saying that the colors that they use for Vivian James represents rape culture or something. I don't remember the full. There was a tweet about it. I don't remember the full thing, the full argument, but. Just further proving, the bullshit that spews out of these people's mouths.
Oh my god! Actually, I know
Like, come on.
her colors are more of like an Irish.
I was about to say,
thing.
I'm like, so are Irish people or rape
Yeah,
culture?
that's offensive to me as someone who's mostly Irish. Well, I'm not most. Well,
she
I'm
wears
good chunk
green,
Irish, I should say.
purple,
And orange, I think, right?
like her hair is orange, right?
Yeah. She's a redhead, pretty much.
Yep.
And it's like
that's rape culture.
no, and I know those colors too represent.
So is Goku a rapist because he wears orange?
Goku.
The Battle of the Gods makes more sense now.
His misogyny levels over 9,000. What? 9,000? Oh god. All right. Well, I guess wow. We've been going now for almost. Well, I'm looking at almost an hour and 40 minutes here.
All right.
Almost 2.
Whoa.
Actually, almost yeah.
You're doing good.
Pretty much almost 2 hours. But I guess we can stop here. We can end here.
Oh,
no, you got any?
stop? Okay.
Oh, well, you guys got anything last to say before we end the podcast for today?
Just one last thing,
Sure.
and I'll stop talking about Gamergate after this.
You misogynist.
So to anyone listening, so if you seriously think that Gamergate, if you believe what the media is pushing, and you believe that Gamergate is all about harassing women and trying to drive women out of the gaming industry, misogyny and whatnot, if you really think that, then I urge you to take a trip over to reddit.com/r/Kotaku in action.
Mm-hmm.
And spend a good 10, 15 minutes there and read some of the posts there. And what you'll see there is not misogyny.
Mm-mm.
You'll see people who actually care about journalistic ethics, people who are, actually trying to get sponsors removed from scumbag websites like Gawker.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see people who care about artistic freedom, because I remember when GTA 5 got banned from Target in Australia, they were fighting about that.
Mm-hmm.
When Hatred on Steam, when that got removed from Steam Greenlight, they were fighting about that. So that's another big thing. You will see there some people criticizing Anita Sarkeesian, Jonathan McIntosh, Ian Miles Chong, and any other anti-Gamergaters out there. I do wish they would focus less on that stuff and really focus on what's important, which is journalistic ethics. So you are going to see some of that, but you're also going to see plenty of the other things. And also, I mean, if you think that Gamergate is a loud minority of people, no. I'm also going to say that that's wrong, because if they were such a loud minority, then why would ABC's video criticizing Gamergate have 34,500 dislikes and only 1,200 likes?
Yeah.
I mean, that just speaks volumes right there.
Absolutely.
These people are gamers, and they don't want to be vilified by the journalists or any journalists at all, the general public at all, because it's a hobby. It's a harmless hobby. It doesn't teach people to be misogynist. It doesn't teach people to go on shooting sprees. It's just a game. And unless you have most people will know the difference between fantasy and reality. That yes, there are some people with mental disorders, and that's why we need to put more money into research on mental disorders. But the vast majority of people, gaming is not a harmful thing. Mm-mm. And the general public needs to stop with this whole, gaming is for kids thing. Yeah. And it's just really, that just needs to stop. Yeah. Just let people enjoy what they do.
Yeah.
All right, I'm done with my soapbox.
No problem.
That was beautiful.
And we see that with we've seen that with anime as well. Anime has gotten the same treatment as games. It's kid stuff. It's kid stuff. It shouldn't have stuff in there like that. Why is there blood in Dragon Ball Z? Oh no.
Yeah, what I see happening in Gamergate is stuff I've actually seen happening on ANN. For a while too, with the whole the way they tend to denounce fans of a particular show. I'm not going to name any names of any particular people, but anyone who's connected with the community will know who I'm talking about.
Oh boy, well, I guess that could definitely be up for discussion next, because for another podcast, because I'll look up more into that, because I guess that's another connection there. I might have to disconnect from ANN. I mean, I don't really talk. I just blog with the connections to their posts sometimes. But if they're really doing that too, if they're pulling that crap, then I'll denounce them too, just like I did Kotaku. And
they do it not nearly as much as like Kotaku and Gawker do, but they do it sometimes. I've been following, if you want a good anime news source, a lot of people don't realize that Crunchyroll has actually now a very established news outlet.
Yes.
They have RSS feeds if you want to just sign up for those, or you can just go to the website and just click on news in the top banner. And they're a very good news site. I follow them and just them for anime news. I don't follow ANN anymore, and I haven't missed out on anything big.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Even though Crunchyroll dove into my territory with selling anime figures, it's okay, which is fine. I'm a paid subscriber to Crunchyroll. I've been for I think now for 2 years. I support them. I think they're great assets to the anime community, and I would definitely continue this as long as they don't start pulling that crap, which I don't think they will.
No, they seem they're very neutral, non-biased in their reporting.
Yeah.
They do put a little bit of a spin on it, but it's usually a positive spin.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, this show is disgusting,
Yeah. That's good.
So,
I want to see that more. And Danielle, did you have anything that you want to say before we end the podcast? I know both me
really
and
on the spot.
Did you want me to say something first before you?
Yeah, you say something first.
Well, I guess like what John was saying, just to, I guess for the sake of GamerGate too, talk, definitely see Kotaku in action, and I would also say, for comparison, look at GamerGazi and look at them both. There's another section on Reddit that's very for anti-GamerGate, which is called our GamerGazi. Look at both respectively, and understand that there is some bias on both ends, but I've definitely noticed by far that Kotaku in action will squash any kind of very bad negativity in terms of people. If anyone's doing any blatant harassing or just blatant teasing, I mean, yes, there's some memes that go around a full Macintosh and all that other stuff, which is sometimes it is pretty friggin' funny for the sake of the lulls. But at the same time, you'll look at it. It's they will try to say, listen, don't, even like with this whole the mace or pepper spray thing. They even said that on there. Don't generalize all of anti-GamerGate and say that this girl is that. You don't want to be like them. You don't see that on the other side. You don't see that on GamerGazi. You see GamerGazi is just like another outlet of our ShitRedditSays. It's just another bash these people for the sake of it and downvote brigade them for the hell of it instead of trying to improve things. So and take it from me as someone who's I've had an anime site this site's been around since 2002. I've had an anime store since 2007. I've been a gamer since I was a baby practically, and an anime fan and stuff. And I'm not someone that's just coming in to say, hey, GamerGate, go after these women and stuff. There's really a situation where you're having gamers, game developers, and fans of this hobby getting vilified yet again by a group that's pretending that there's someone that's great when they're not. It's they're pretending that they're coming from a political correctiveness standpoint, a leftist libertarian standpoint, when it's not. It's if it is left, it's authoritarian.
Yeah.
And it's bad. Yeah. That's pretty much what I'll say to it.
Don't tell other people what they should and should not enjoy.
Right.
If you don't like a particular piece of media, then don't buy it. Don't watch it, and just separate yourself from it. But if other people, if your friends want to watch it or experience it or play the game or whatever, who are you to judge?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who are you to judge who plays what for the video games and who makes these games too as well? Let a designer make the game that they have in their mind. It's their creative freedom that should not be questioned and challenged. It should only be challenged when it comes to the integrity of the actual game itself, the gameplay itself, and what people want, and if people actually enjoy playing the game. And that's all that should be there. Not, oh, there's boobs in the game. 3 out of 10. The girl or Final Fantasy 15. Sid is a girl. Oh, but her boobs are showing. 1 out of 10. Worst thing ever. You know,
I think that's awesome.
Sid's a girl and she's showing cleavage. Oh no, look out!
I think you know what? I don't think she's showing enough.
Yeah.
I thought she was gonna be this dirty girl, and no, disappointed.
Wow.
She's like mud on her face. I'm like, what is this?
So in closing, I'll just say that just look at it objectively, and you'll see that it's just a bunch of us gamers and fans that just want to be creative and do what we want to do, and that's really it. And I definitely hope to go to Magfest next time. It sounds really cool. I know this is the last time I'm hoping the last time we miss out on Magfest.
Yeah, definitely go if you can. To anyone listening, it's totally worth a trip if you live on the East Coast. Actually, I think they have a Magfest equivalent on the West Coast. It's called something different though. Yeah. I'm sure you can ask them on their web. You can check on their website about it. But yeah, it's quite an experience. If you're into gaming, or even if you're just into anime and maybe want to get into gaming a little bit, I know there's probably not too many people like that. But for the few of you who are out there who are into anime but not gaming, this is a good place to get into it.
Nice. So Danielle, you got any?
I don't know. You guys are really good. I kind of feel like the loser here.
Well, no. You're a guest too.
Should I make a support group for girls that have big boobs?
Support. Avalanche.
Oh, that's good.
No, because Tifa, Tifa.
That could have many meanings.
Yeah.
That's why it's good.
Boobs are so heavy, they're avalanching. I can see that being interpreted in many ways.
And the guys that follow us, they can be our supporters. They can be our bras.
Instead of bros, they're bras.
Bras.
Oh my gosh.
We should start that.
Yes.
Girls, start that.
Support girls with big boobs. Oh, I support that.
Let's support that.
Make a Kickstarter right now.
Yeah.
Patreon that. Oh gosh.
To all my bras out there. Thanks for the support.
Oh man. Well, John, thank you. Thank you for being a guest today on our podcast, our third podcast. And hope to have more and not have as big of a gap as we had for this time. We were starting it weekly and just because
I was really sick.
Danielle was really sick. I was having this code test. Then you had this freaking storm we were having and everything. And
weekly podcasts can be very taxing. That's part of the reason why I quit the old one I used to be on.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. A lot of people. Hey, anyone listening, if you want to make a podcast, it's work.
Mm-hmm.
It is work. So, but yeah. So in closing, thanks again, John, and I guess we'll sign off.
Yep. Thank you. Bye.
Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye. Thank you for letting me come on. It was had a good time.